Hi Calum, good to see you.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Firstly, what are your thoughts on the club's appointment of Xabi Alonso as the next manager?
Yeah, really exciting news. Great coach, massive pedigree. Really exciting for the club. We're all looking forward to working with Xabi.
And does it say something about the stature of Chelsea Football Club that despite it being a disappointing campaign, the club can still attract a manager of that calibre?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's a massive club. I think we've got really exciting players, some of the best players in the world, who have shown, even though it's been a disappointing season, they have shown at times this year the quality that we have. It's a massive club and it will always attract top players and top managers.
And what are your own expectations for what happens for you following these two matches? Would you like to remain involved with the first team?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that. There is so much to prepare for. There is so much at play. So boring answer, but my focus is always on the next game, the next training session.
I imagine you've not seen the players too much since the FA Cup final, but have you got an early indication of team news, any fresh concerns at all?
No, so they're going to train this afternoon. We'll have a much better idea of where they are. It was a tough game on Saturday, so we'll have to see how they've reported in and how they look in training before we have any final say on the squad.
Levi Colwill has started the last two matches, his first two starts of this season, so is it likely he'd be able to start again 3 days after Wembley?
Yeah, we need to be careful with Levi. He's obviously coming back off a very serious injury. He's performed well in those two games. We'll see how he looks today, we'll see how he reports, and we'll make a decision on that. But definitely, I agree, we have to manage him right.
And finally from me, Spurs tomorrow. How motivated are this group to end this season, the final home match, on a high, and also at the same time, it would make things very difficult for Tottenham in terms of survival hopes if you were victorious tomorrow?
Yeah, we're very, very focused. We need to win the next two games to give ourselves the best chance to finish as high up in the league as possible and get European football. That is our only focus in doing our job and putting in the performance we need to beat a good side. Thank you.
Thanks, James. Soraya?
Hi.
Obviously, as mentioned, last home game of the season, Battle of the Bridge, everyone's looking forward to it against Spurs. How have you actually found your time as being interim? It's going to be the last time you step out at Stamford Bridge in this role. What have you learned about yourself as a manager and about the squad as a new chapter starts?
I've enjoyed the challenge. I've enjoyed the pressure. It's easier when you win games rather than losing games. But I've enjoyed it, and we're ready for the game tomorrow.
Just touching back on Levi Colwill, obviously, as you said, very serious injury, but he's even come back and looked slightly better than he did previously. Sharp, fast, added that different bit of dimension and momentum to the game. When it comes to how he's managed that and the process, how has it been for you as an interim manager when you haven't really had a defender that can break the lines, push the ball up the pitch like we saw against Man City?
Yeah, it's been great to have Levi back. Great for English football as well. I think we've got a really talented, really high potential player here, and injuries are a part of it. And he's shown really good mental strength and character to come through that and perform away at Anfield and in an FA Cup final. So, yeah, really excited about Levi. He's added a lot to the team, not just on the pitch but off the pitch as well. So it's been a brilliant 2 games for him, and hopefully he can finish the season strong.
And lastly, you said after the final, we know what this team's capable of, but they need to produce on a consistent basis. Is that just a genuine need for more time for this squad under the next manager that's going to come in? Or is there actual specific key things that you've seen yourself that's like there's gaps?
Yeah, it's hard in such a small sample size to make that call. I think when I say that we've seen what they're capable of and they need to do it on a more consistent basis, I felt like with all the injuries we've got in our squad, we went toe-to-toe with Man City and it was an even game. It was a 50-50 game in my opinion. Semenyo decided the game with a bit of quality, but there was other instances where that could have been a Chelsea player that decides that game. I think that shows the level of this group, the quality of this group, and we haven't done it on a consistent basis, otherwise we wouldn't be where we are in the league. But there's also been a lot of change. There's also been a lot that's gone on at the club that it's not my place to say what's right or wrong, but that can affect momentum, that can affect the group. But when this group is at their best, I think we're up there with anyone in Europe. So how do we produce that on a more consistent basis? That's what we'll be looking at the end of the season. That's what we'll be trying to help the group with. And also they have to want to produce that, and they're capable of doing that. So, but for now, it's 2 games left to get 6 points, hopefully, and push up the table as far as we can.
Good luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Soraya. Nizar?
Hi Calum, you
Hi.
mentioned injuries there. I just wondered, there was a few players not in your squad in the last few weeks, Benoit Badiashile, Mamadou Sarr and Romeo Lavia. I just wanted to know if there's any update with those three.
Yeah, Romeo took a slight knock in the build-up to the game. Nothing major, but with Romeo, we just don't want to take that. I didn't want to take that risk. We don't want to take that risk. I thought he was brilliant in the games that he did play, and he gave us a lot the same way Levi did. But we just have to be careful with players of that have had injury history.
And I was asking about Mamadou Sarr and Badiashile as well.
Yeah, they didn't make the squad. They're training really well, training really hard. We can use them in the next 2 games potentially, but we've got a lot of players in those positions, so you want to make sure you've got the right balance on your bench, but nothing to report with those 2.
And with João Pedro and Reece James, are they going to be subject to a bit of load management? I only say João Pedro because he looked a bit tired at the end when he came off. He did a lot of running, didn't he?
Yeah, with all the players, we have to see how they come back in today. How they were in yesterday. Hopefully it's positive signs today when they report, and when they train they feel good, and we'll make a decision on that as late as we possibly can.
And last question, as a sort of Londoner who, your family are Chelsea fans and stuff like that, you'll know the importance of a Chelsea versus Tottenham game, like especially at Stamford Bridge and the record that Chelsea have. Do you think the players understand that though, and are you going to do anything to make sure the players are up for it and maybe tap into that rivalry and that aggression that they can show on that pitch?
I think the players have shown in the last 2 games that their fight and their heart has been questioned at times. I think they've shown in the last 2 games that for me that's not an issue. Everyone knows the rivalry between Chelsea and Tottenham, but ultimately both teams have got a lot to play for. So I don't think we're going to have to do anything extra special to motivate the lads. We need 6 points from our next 2 games. I think they need a point to almost guarantee safety. So both teams are fighting at different parts of the table, but both teams are fighting for the point. So we shouldn't need to add any extra motivation, but it will naturally be there with a London derby between Chelsea and Tottenham.
Thanks, Nizar. Simon?
Hi, Simon.
Is Alonso, have you spoken to Alonso at all since the appointment?
He sent me a text message yesterday. I'll keep that private, but mainly just around the final. So I've had a brief conversation with him via text.
And are you going to be part of his backroom staff next season?
I don't know at this moment in time. Our focus and those discussions haven't really been had. We've got a lot to prepare for with the cup final last week and 2 massive games coming up. So that's where all our focus is.
And whilst I appreciate the focus is these 2 games, is there a bit of have you noticed the buzz around the players? Are they talking about, because Alonso's a bit of a coup for the club to get here? Have you detected that they're excited about his arrival?
Yeah, I think everyone at the club's excited. Like I said, a great coach, has had a really good career so far, won major trophies, great playing career. We'll have a lot of respect from everyone, and it's a really exciting appointment from the club.
We'll finish with Martin.
Hi Calum, just one question. We saw a Chelsea long throw at Wembley and you nearly scored from it. Does that suggest that in the next couple of games we might see a few more?
Potentially, but it was actually Bernardo, the set-piece coach, who does a great job, who came up with the idea and saw a weakness that he felt like we could expose, and we were unlucky that we didn't. Anything to win football games.
It was the first one for about 4 seasons.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Not bad.
You'll get 1 or 2 coming in from Kevin Danso.
I'm sure. Seems to be the theme in the Premier League at the moment. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martin. Thank you, everyone. Cameras off, please.